Kris, we work so hard sometimes that it's almost hard to take that time to stop and relax and really find the meaning of Christmas. How do you do it?
Well, I mean, even here in Toronto, if you stay in Toronto, so many stores now, the coffee shops on the corner, they're open during Christmas. But for me, it's a little bit easier when I go back to my hometown because it's a very small hometown, Deep River, Ontario, very, very quiet. And so I have these great memories of in my youth, hardly any cars even traveling on the roads on Christmas. And I'd walk my dog through these snow-covered trails and you'd hear nothing. Or on Christmas Day, we'd go skating out on the river, and all you'd hear is just the sound of skates on the ice. And it was really a very beautiful way to celebrate Christmas, and gives you time to actually contemplate what Christmas is about. Last year, I was able to go to Madonna House in Combermere, Ontario, and it's a small community of people who live there. Again, out in the wilderness, and they really take Advent very seriously and Christmas very seriously, and so you actually have that time for contemplation. So I won't be going back there this year, but I will be going to my hometown and hopefully being able to experience the quiet and the stillness of Christmas once again and get out of the city.
What's your favorite? What are your favorite memories from that time back at home, having all of this peace?
That's a good question. Well, I think it was just spending time with my small family because I think it's great when you can gather all your extended family around, but I think that can also, for a lot of people, be sort of a stressful experience and there can be drama. But for us, because we didn't have any extended family who was there, it was just myself, my sister, and my parents. And so we would have this really quiet, almost solemn Christmas dinner, even though my parents aren't, rest of my family isn't very religious, with just candles on the table, the four of us, the turkey dinner, glasses of wine, or when we were kids, ginger ale. And so we still do that.
Ginger ale still,
Yeah.
instead of wine?
Instead of wine, yeah.
You mentioned to me once about going to Mass in the church in your hometown.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful experience that is because of that community.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it is a very small town, only about 4,000 people. And so you do, for many people, particularly the young people, they don't stay in Deep River. They go off and they work elsewhere. And so Christmas is that one time where there is a reunion, and so we all come back for midnight mass, and it's up north. It's in northern Ontario, so it's always very snowy and serene, and it just feels perfect.
Sounds wonderful. What advice would you give to someone who has to stay in the city but wants to get that sense of peace?
I've had to do that a few times now, staying here in Toronto, and I think that the biggest challenge for me when I'm here in Toronto is one, stay out of the stores. I mean, do the shopping that you can, but there's this temptation to do all sorts of other shopping that maybe you don't need to do. And then stay away from your computer. Maybe, I wouldn't say stay away from the TV, but because I think that Salt and Light has a lot of great Advent and Christmas programs, if I'm allowed to plug that. But to really try to cut down on the distractions.
I think that's good advice. I think I'm going to try that myself, and I'm sure other people will, having heard it from you.
Oh, I hope so.
Wonderful. Merry Christmas, Kris.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you too, Alicia.